it's just so now I'm totally searching, and this is me checking out a new thing. So trees make me misty, and I actually might cry because I cried when I wrote it. My eyes dampen when I ponder trees. So much we are learning about them. Above the ground, they clean our air, allow us to play in their limbs, grow fruit and nuts for us to eat. Below the ground, they talk to their kin with signals from roots, and they feed their babies just starting to grow. They have a pulse, they feel input. They do these things much slower than you and I. They live longer, quieter than you and I. We can feel their ways when we listen. The Japanese know being amongst trees is a cleansing. They call walking in woods forest bathing. Trees are sentient, yet we look at lumber costs by the foot. We want wooden handles on tools, wooden furniture, paper to write. But a living community falls to make this for us. These for us. Okay, that's one piece. And then my grandpa. I know a tree I call Grandpa. He is a type of sentinel at the rolling hills at the base of Mount Tam. He stands tall at the apex of a hike above the town of Fairfax. I don't know why I call him Grandpa. He does have a man's face in his bark, and I do kiss his cheek when I meet up with him. I usually spend a moment with him and the recently discovered imp, who also has a face in his bark that is best seen when wet from the rains. I love to stand next to Grandpa, right arm wrapped around his trunk to look over the valley. His pointy oak leaves rattle gently as we stand looking across lowlands filled with younger trees, likely from his acorns. He's wide, like 3 feet. A calculator placed his age at 240 years. That means he sprouted in 1780, 70 years before California became a state. Likely Miwoks had caressed his bark too. So this tree has seen languages and cultures flourish, fade, and fail. He now stands to see if humanity will indeed ride out this last destructive force of global warming. Forest fires threaten this area. Recently, homeowners are afraid they will not be able to renew their fire insurance. I hope Grandpa makes it if a fire holds out over there. Thank you.
And then,
Forced to fly.
Forced?
Forced to fly.
Forced to fly.
Oh, forced to fly. So Gabby then. Oh, so it's
Gabby's first.
Gabby's first. Okay, so
Okay,
Gabby.
then forced to fly.
Then forced to fly.
Come
All
on.
right. Just remember, everything is poetry tonight.
Woo!
I don't know why I say things. I don't-
Yeah.
You're ready. You're good. This is your first time here?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm
We were
sorry.
on vacation, I think.
Oh, all right then. This is the first time for me.
Are you ready?
Uh-oh.
Calm down, David.
All right, I'm calming down. All right, there we go.
I love that one. Do that again, Tony.
Hello everyone, my name is Forced to Fly. I'm a San Francisco born and raised artist. I speak on a couple different issues, and today I'm going to talk about my return to San Francisco. I'm getting back to me, back to my city that bore and raised me, and people say you're so lucky you get to live in the city, knowing damn well it was my daddy's death that brought me. So take your good luck and your fake ass pity. Take your good luck and your fake ass pity. Cause this city never left me, and neither did my daddy. I'm just a daddy's girl trying to make it home to her daddy. These youthful legs took me around the globe further than I ever been before. And that initial journey felt so short, but the way home felt longer, harder, further than it ever did before. Because somehow knowing you wouldn't be at that finish line made my legs grow heavy, my heart pound, and my breath struggled to stay steady. I'm just a daddy's girl trying to make it home to her daddy. But walking down the street feels foreign when all these white folks move here. I wasn't gone that long, was I? Maybe it's my memory that recollects incorrectly, but the smell of home, it's gone. It's covered in the stench of coffee houses, and it reeks of overpriced homes and greedy landlords. There's not even a landmark to light the way. Where's Candlestick? Now I must find a trail of breadcrumbs to bring me home. And I'm just a daddy's girl trying to make it home to her daddy. But homes are bought and remodeled just to kick out my folks. Apartment buildings are set ablaze by murderous landlords. I see the newcomers, they watch on their iPhones. And a brown boy drops to his knees, begging, screaming, pleading for God to save his ancestors and his pets. Let it burn, the almighty dollar says. A people displaced, a community wiped out. Where did home go? And I'm just a daddy's girl trying to make it home to her daddy. But that city's lacking history that once alive, diverse, tasty, is now cold, bland, pasty. Overrun by the Stepford Wives Company, desperate to make us all the same. And condos are the new enemy, 'cause I heard a rumor. They come alive at night, shooting lasers through the blinds, killing our culture more and more each night. Their shadows, they swallow our homeless, disappeared out of sight. No respect for babies, children's mothers, fathers, elders, families. And I'm just a daddy's girl trying to make it home to her daddy. Growing up, everyone I knew spoke a different language. But the new San Francisco, it only speaks cash. Nada en este mundo es gratis. That's what my daddy taught me. Free is never free because it costs somebody something. Something neither you or I can see. And the last time I was free, I was hugging a tree. And before that, I was digging in the sand. But if I'm being honest, I think it was the last time I made my late brother laugh. Enjoying for the both of us, Dad. And don't worry, I made it home. Turns out you were with me all along.
Yeah! Yeah! Thank you. Good. Glad to see you. Glad to hear it. All right. Well, this is the next band. So it's you.
So guess who's next?
Well, Sharon is next, and then Hal, then Rob, just so you know. Sharon Scott Kish, ladies and gentlemen, will take us sailing away. I should stop that right now. No,
Yeah, you should. You should. You really should.
I
Don't
know,
make
but
promises you can't.
that's what my mom used to
She's
say.
got your number.
After I said just about
She's
anything.
got your number.
It's on top. This is from Kansas City. Duh.
Yes, it is.
You're up.
Her goose was cooked. Dead winter, cold. No more Christmas. Now, muddy snowbanks, grit on the street, dirty sand on the pavements, and lonely sounds of chains hitting the streets. Women settle in, cooking hearty meals, stews, chicken and dumplings, big pots of beans and ham hocks. Stews, stuffed flank steak, the usual, stewed tomatoes. Ugh. Most meals heavy and routine. Sunday meals have a little more flair, especially if company is coming for dinner. Company meant a ham or stuffed bird, several side dishes, ending with a special cake or cobbler made from fruits canned in the fall. Every home had a pantry stocked with fruits and vegetables that had been canned in July, August, and September. Blackberries, cherries, peaches, pears, strawberries, plums, rhubarb, blueberries. Those were the standards, the items to go to complete the meals. Mrs. McNeil always preferred to put on a big feast for winter guests. Goose was her favorite bird, her favorite big bird. She would search all over for a prize bird, and Ben's in the neighborhood always knew when to call her when they got a big fat goose. And when she got the call, she immediately sat down, got her phone book out, and called her friends. She sent out the invitations. The adults loved this chance for a big feast. For the men, it was a chance to get away from the usual winter Sunday roast beef. Some cooked so long that you couldn't tell the string from the roast. And the kids couldn't either because they kept chewing it. The men loved it, and they also got to go in the den and have a few nips with their buddies. A good piece of pie and some of her favorites, bourbon bread pudding. Now, a goose is a big bird. And the dinner usually meant an invitation going out to a few families, children in tow. The children weren't really that fond of goose, a little fatty, so they played with the meat and ate as much of the scalloped potatoes as they could. They wolfed it down. Clean plate meant room for dessert. If banana pudding was coming, they'd have 2 plates, so they could get more banana pudding. Mrs. McNeil was especially proud of her meals. Brown sugared carrots, potatoes with caraway seeds, a big tomato aspic. The children liked the wiggle, but not the taste, so they played with theirs. Days in advance, she was washing, starching, ironing doilies, each one placed and pinned to the chair, the back of the sofa, and the backs and arms of each chair. Plastic floor runners were scrubbed and placed over the carpets. Plastic lampshades washed and placed carefully over the shades. The dog penny was washed and powdered with cashmere bouquet. Aprons starched and on the back of the kitchen chair. Women were excited. They knew they would get to take home a small jar of goose grease. Now, goose grease was a common rub used for colds, chest colds in particular. A salve, a good salve, a teaspoon of salt for a cough. Misery. This was real misery. This was a big goose, and so the grease was going to be plentiful. Each family left, their mothers were handed a little jar, expected quart jar if it was really big, and it was big. And they gratefully accepted them. Winter in the Midwest brings a lot of chest colds. Children cough, wheeze, sniffle, snort, and drool. Children are considered pediatric wards, especially the grade schools. Teachers walk with Kleenex boxes all day. Children, it smells like an apothecary in there. They have bundled up, they're bundled up like mummies before they get there. And before they can go to the playground for noon, they gotta get bundled up again. Idiot mittens, mufflers, galoshes, snow caps, buttons, zippers, some knit caps and some Elmer Fudd caps. As the winter wears on, more colds. Pretty soon it becomes too much. Mother's on phone, time to bring out the goose grease. Hot baths, iron a small piece of flannel, smear a little on the chest with the grease, open wide a big spoonful of grease with salt for the cough and half an orange, a little Vicks in the nose, and good night. Your goose is cooked.
All right, Hal Robbins.
Gabby was in the bathroom. What? Gabby was in the restroom. I don't know. Shoot.
This is
Is it?
a lyric, so far. Could be, if allowed to
You were
exist.
allowed. I'm gonna stop now.
This is a lyric by T.S. Eliot. Children's voices in the orchard, among the blossom and the fruit time. Golden head, crimson head, between the green tip and the root. Black wing, brown wing, hover over. 20 years and the spring is over. Today grieves, tomorrow grieves. Cover me over, light in leaves. Golden head, black wing, cling, swing, spring, sing, swing up into the apple tree. And also pursuant to the theme, This is called Trees, I believe,
Yes.
by Ogden Nash. I think that I shall never see a billboard lovely as a tree, because unless the billboards fall, I'll never see a tree at all. And I'm going to close with this one by Archibald MacLeish, called The End of the World.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Quite unexpectedly, as Vassereau, the armless ambidextrian, was lighting a match between his great and second toe, and Ralph the lion was engaged in biting the neck of Madame Sauceman, while the drum pointed and Teeny was about to cough, in waltz time swinging Jocko by the thumb. Quite unexpectedly, the top blew off, and there overhead, there arched over those hundreds of white faces, those dazed eyes, there amid the starless dark, the poise, the hover, there spreading vast wings across the cancelled skies, quite unexpectedly stood out the black pall of nothing, 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 nothing at all.
Wow. I love that.
Here it comes, Rob.
Rob! And then Robert Rodriguez. Robert Rodriguez after Rob.
Is Gabby here?
Yeah, she was in the restaurant.
Okay, so then after Rob, Gabby, like that, okay. Thank you for that, I totally just,
At the battlefield at Gettysburg, when the battle was over, they cleaned up the battlefield, and they picked up 27,000 rifles. And of the 27,000 rifles, these were single-shot rifles, 22,000 of them were loaded and unfired. For those of us who have never been anywhere near a battlefield, we have our imaginations, maybe a good book or two, maybe a lot of bad movies to tell us what it is like. But 22,000 unfired rifles, and you say, well, okay, maybe they died before they could fire them. But no, these single-shot rifles, there were thousands of them that were not only loaded and unfired, but loaded and unfired twice, 3, 4, 5, even 6 times a single rifle had been loaded and not fired. That's not really pertinent to the song that I'm going to sing, but it's fascinating. Someone should make a poem out of that. This is called The Poverty Blues. The only animal to invent a mirror. How do we look ourselves in the face? Look at all our genocide. Even we want to kill the human race. But strangest of all, you'll agree, the animal who invented poverty. The only animal to invent the enema. One coffee to go up my butt. We invented date rape as well. We give flowers, we give hell. And strangest of all, you'll agree, the animal who invented poverty. Don't ask if I'm a commie, just ask if I believe in sharing. Then ask yourself, do you? Oh, you do? Me too. The only animal to invent prison, a ticking clock on sanity. Of course, we invented the blues. We cry in harmony. And strangest of all, you'll agree, the animal who invented poverty. The only animal to invent circumcision, carving our kids with precision. The only animal to invent suicide. Death is where we go to hide. And strangest of all, you'll agree, the animal who invented poverty. Poverty. Poverty.
Is this your first time here?
It is.
Okay! Bah! They're supposed to do animal noises and they always forget. Leaves it up to me, you know? Jeez.
All right.
It is real.
I have never had a girlfriend. I have never had a girlfriend. I have had a girlfriend, but not a friend that's a girl. It's not you, it's me. Where they're carefully handling things in my delicate flowers like black boy's hair where it becomes such chaos. It's not you, it's me. Too much energy that I see and I get kisses on the forehead that make me miss my grandma so much. Closing my third eye that I don't have to worry. In your arms, I don't understand. It's not you, it's me. Too much energy I see with the food you cook, with the enormous hugs you give me. I never had a girlfriend to do that for me. Every woman in my life, I desperately try to separate myself because I'm such a toxic bomb ready to blow because I don't know how to be a girl. It's not you, it's me. Maybe I point fingers and say the 10 years growing out without my mom, alcoholism took over her body as it takes mine. I didn't understand when you asked. Never had a friend that cared so much without being told. From a girlfriend, I can't have one. I mean a girlfriend, you know, a friend that's a girl. I really never had those, although I liked having them around. I like to step back because of my masculinity. I never really had them liking me for me. It's not you, it's me. Going through so much, I never had a person to hold my hand, you know, as a girl. Loving me no less with the expectations are going through the roof. But that's just a lying in me. I take pride and I don't take criticism well. Something at 26, it's so new. Like I said, it's not you, it's me. And sometimes, the biggest fear in myself will always be me.
Yeah! Gabby the Great! Thank you! Robert Rubino! And then Bill Mercer.
And stepping up to the plate.
And then,
Robert Rubino.
so we have Bill, then Tony, then Brandon. Okay, there we go. All right, there you go. You're on.
Wrestling versus boxing. It's false, it's fake, it's fantasy, it's scripted, it's silliness. And at 14, I can't look away. Muscle bound, bound for glory, Bruno Sammartino getting set to pin villainous killer Kowalski to the mat. Golden maned nature boy Buddy Rogers sneaking up from behind and clobbering buff Bruno with a folding chair. Cueing 601-pound haystack Calhoun to come to the rescue. A magnificent melee ensues while the see no evil referee becomes an incurious bystander. In my pliable Play-Doh of a mind, pro wrestling via our 12-inch black and white TV in 1962 was violence stylized, violence operatic, Violence as theater of the absurd, with ample amounts of huffing and puffing and blowing the house down, with headlocks, drop kicks, body slams, backbreakers, skull crushers, and sleeper holds. It was violence at its best. Nobody got hurt. They'd all be back next week, good as new. Of course, the attraction was made stronger by the revulsion expressed by my blue-collar father, well-muscled himself, whose bellowing, "It's phony, it's staged," cued my cry of resistance. "Oh yeah? Mr. America's bashed head bled last week, real blood." Even though I knew it's all fake, even the blood. But that wasn't the point. The point being we watched this stuff together. My wrestling on Thursday nights, his Friday night fights. I'd soak up his punchy boxing history lectures about the great John L. and Gentleman Jim and the Jacks, Johnson and Dempsey, and Joe Louis, of course, while mesmerized by the sweet science artistry of an aging Sugar Ray Robinson or the one-eyed courage of Carmen Basilio. But neither of us were prepared for the finale in the Emile Griffith-Benny Kid Perrette trilogy. Griffith beating Perrette to death after Perrette called Griffith a faggot earlier that day at the weigh-in. Griffith punching Perrette in the head 25 times in the 13th round, Perrette giving nothing in return, Perrette slumping but still on his feet, the ropes holding him up, but he's already gone past the point of no return. While referee Ruby Goldstein gapes at this public execution as if he's merely a curious bystander. It's true, it's serious, it's unscripted, it's brutality, it's reality, and at 14, I can't look away. Thank you.
Wow. Pat Patterson. Thank you, Shamuya.
Bill Mercer?
I think he might not be. He's dead.
He disappeared in there, nothing.
All right, so then we skip Bill.
Then we go to Tony.
Tony? Tony, he's right.
Okay,
Move.
right here.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say a funny thing about you. Okay. While he's getting ready, I have to tell you, like, I've been sitting here and he's been sitting there and I'm watching how his face does stuff as the poetry is being read. It's like he's drinking wine, going and all this. It's like I'm thinking, I should have zeroed in on this guy. So it's like you take it. It's like amazing. I love it. Anyway, so there he is, right before your very eyes. Tony Alvarado!
Thank you very test. Thank you very much. I found out the theme was trees, and then I had this on.
Yeah.
And then I wrote this. Oh, Christmas tree, it's January 22nd, why haven't I taken you down? I like the way you blink at night when I come home, high as a kite. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, if I could, I'd smoke you.
That's on the upcoming album.
I wrote that here. You know, last night I went out, today's Wednesday, Tuesday night, Vallejo, California, the town bar, no joke. I went to the bar last night, right before last call, and sat next to a dreamboat whose life story was a total shipwreck. Shit, who am I to talk? I couldn't hold that against her. But then she moved in closer to me, all into my personal space. She smelled like a long day that ran into a longer night. And when she opened her mouth, it smelled like a bad marriage way past its expiration date. I'll stop being so damn poetical. Her breath smelled like she ate dead people sauteed in cat shit.
Been there.
Before she walked into that bar and decided she would try to use alcohol to wash that scent of death away. Oh, if that was her plan, she failed miserably. And my last call suddenly turned into a call to Uber. And since I always carry a flask with me, last night I said, tonight I'll drink in the car. The car I'm not driving. So here's to Uber and helping me escape death breath. This next poem wasn't planned, but I'll do it for a friend. This title is Latinos. If you could say one word with me. Latinos! Boom, 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 boom. Latinos are the colors of the rainbow. I said the rainbow, yo. Latinos are blanquito, negrito, trigueñito, and afro. Hey. Afrolistic, realistic, simplistic, always mystic, always real. Really real, sometimes too real. Always told we love to steal. So some Latinos become violent. So violent they grow violent, and almost everyone they know's violent. And some become angered. So angry and angered, some have become endangered. Others misinformed, uninformed, and uniformed into the penitentiary. Right into the next century. Others misinformed and uniformed into the war, turned into Uncle Sam's whore. Say it with me, Latinos! I can't take it no more. I said the U.S. military. Well, we're first on the front lines, first to die. Then we have to bury? Have you seen how many Latino soldiers are in your national cemetery? We're used in the U.S., abused in the U.S., confused in the U.S., and told we are less in the U.S. Come on, system, confess. We've been infected, rejected, corrected, and almost never elected, yet always selected to clean those pissed on urinals and shitty stalls. We are the Latina nannies that wipe the shit out of the president's grandchildren's drawers, then kiss his ass to cut his grass for a visa pass. Latinos are runaway slaves with eyes open wide and no place to hide. Latinos risk their lives. I said Latinos risk their lives to reach the U.S. and can't come inside. Latinos are young men and women who serve this country with pride. We're here, there, and everywhere. Tall, short, bald, and even Indio looking with long hair. We rock the baggy pants, love music and dance, and we're born to romance. Latinos can become what we dream, if given a chance. We are Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Award winners like Rita Moreno and the whole lot more. Like El Gran Combo, Willie Colon, and Mr. Hector Lavoe. Latinos are stars, sports stars, movie stars, and superstars like Celia Cruz. We influence people around el mundo like Orquesta de la Luz. Latinos are united farm workers, teachers, preachers, activists, poets. Borinquen, Puerto Rican, New Yorkican poets like Piri Tomás, Abacha, and Miguel Piñero. Y nacimos fuerte hasta la muerte como los macheteros. Somos doctores y profesores de colores y ingenieros. Gente como Clemente, de los mejores peloteros. Somos jíbaros de la montaña y nacimos todos salseros. Ay, mis Borinquen, como yo te quiero. Te llama Puerto Rico, pero no hay mucho dinero. Te amo, te amo, te amo y me encanta. Y en el nombre de Dios y poesía, Puerto Rico se levanta. Thank you.
Brandon. And then who's after Brandon?
Talk about Garrett.
scripts after Brandon. Like, this is a big room. It's like, how big is this room? How big is
It's
this
about
room?
5 foot. With Leander Aragon, trust me, I know. But yeah, so keeping with the theme and with the, I guess the point of family pride, here we go. Trees. I was sober when I wrote this. It is estimated to be between 80,000 years old and a cool million. The largest clonal tree on Earth is in Utah, the Pando National Forest. Each trunk is part of a clustered root system that spans the whole wood. The idea of being lost in a single organism engulfs my mind, swallows me alive by its size and scale. It remembers a time when man was still living in the trees. Incapable of the speech I use to communicate with you now, and I'll tell you a secret, it scares the living hell out of me. I think back to my family tree and how Charlie Brown it is. I guess more Americans celebrate Christmas than Arbor Day, netting a loss each year of anything organic, so some of them have to look that way. Drooping over to one side, my mother's side, the one with all the judgment and insanity and hateful religion in its mind, reminding me that I'm supposed to go to hell for loving a masculine pine over some fir somewhere, any fir, more that way.
Wow.
You can't choose who you love, but if you could, I know you would choose not to love me. I don't love you. I haven't in some time. I may never have, and I am okay with that. It's not that I'm in a militarized left-wing political group or watch too much CNN. It's just I'm not a tree that is a cannibal, feeding off the broken branches and woodland fires that nature starts consuming dead animal and fescue for financial independence, drowning out every tree that isn't identical and the same as me, sucking the nutrients out of the soil below brown bushes and black cedar, claiming the whole world is a timeless sarcophagus built on your copy and paste fast food restaurants designed to look like it's 1950, which was 70 goddamn years ago. The word modern was used to describe VHS tapes, yet I'm the entitled one. No, I won't be asked to be excused from the dinner table. I'm a grown-ass fucking man. I don't sit at your kiddie table, but I'm so goddamn happy that I will never need to see you again. I will email or fax in the paperwork to commit every one of you to nursing homes where caretakers will change your bedpan, or not. I don't give a shit. Just let me climb this tree trunk back to my million-year-old space, where I'm incapable of speech, unable to communicate with you, like every tweaker who's afraid to talk to the trees. Let me water these rose beds of my cheeks silently and see if anything red can grow from them at the thought of how evil you can be. And until the salt and bleach from these tears drown out the capability to feel anything more, consider this the winter of our family relationship. I can't command the trees to grow or not grow. I can't command my liver to be fixed of hepatitis. I can't command more money or resources because it doesn't grow on fucking trees. But I won't support you in another fucking war and pull the health care from people like me. And then have the nerve to promote family when those here die silently of your oppression. I only did the last one because a man threw a plane at a pair of tree houses in our neck of the woods, and that was a while ago, and you lied about that one too. You get one free war from me, but never two. Instead, you just want to burn down more land for your kudzu future forests. You exist to grow and grow and kill and grow. I want to love you, Pando, and I think that is a lovely name, but I don't want to share your last name, and I don't want to share your DNA. I want to unravel the very fabric of what you call being. I want you to shrivel and die alone. I want dogs to piss on what is left of you and bury your twigs in the ground like I couldn't with my friends, because the jails are full and the madhouses are empty of broken little pines like me with hepatitis and the desire for a forest of diversity. Pando National Forest, like you, my father, scare the living hell out of me.
Wow. And you're back now. And then Karen Elaine Magoo closing us out.
Wow, what a carrot. Wow, that's a lot to follow.
Well, that's been like
Every night.
it's been like one after the other.
I know,
Oh
I
my
know.
God, what am I supposed to do here?
Yeah.
I'm just, well.
Oh, Thank heaven.
I'll be dreaming tonight.
So glad to hear you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Missing original thinking. It's just in our missing report. The original thinking and vision on the tubes these days. The suspect is believed to be TV Reboot. Reboot has been spotted in places such as Dallas and Hawaii in the 90210 and was almost exposed after an altercation with Roseanne. Yet Reboot remains at large and seemingly expanding the dynasty into a full house, was seen speaking to one Punky Brewster, discussing embeddedness, ironically, with someone named MacGyver, and supposedly being pursued by Magnum PI or investigated by Murphy Brown. Seen in all kinds of places and in all kinds of situations, but too many seem charmed by this reboot spell. This seems to be one missing report of the original thinker will remind thee that too many seem to be merrily content with. And we're not even started about Cousin Moo B. That's in charge. The world is in need of so many a thing. The times they are waiting and they're crucial to boot. Our survival as we know it is open to question, yet the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. The bullies have been turned into the heroes of the world. McCarthy has come to with dishonest treason. A crisis of drunken leadership is sore needed, but the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. The genocidal maniacs now have a field day. Respondents have, because they feel they have nothing left to lose, those who claim they were the victim of oppressors instead, when the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. Now, if you see the profile is up again the chops of all the dark cute and non-Christians on the menu, and you say it's okay, just a tenant come in, then you must be a nut in the cookie jar. Yeah, you must be a nut in the cookie jar. And you must be a nut in the cookie jar. And you must be a nut in the cookie jar. Truth plus self equals. Listen to your inner self, good people. Be true to that self, good people. If more of you did that, crime just might drop its jaw.
Yeah. Amen. And now the last word, and we'll take care of these door prizes or door gifts. I'm going to start calling them door gifts.
There you go, much better.
Door gifts.
Yeah, door gifts.
Door gifts.
Dorcas.
Door
That sounds like
gifts.
one word. Dorcas. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking horrors. It was me right then. I'm glad that I could hear it. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. I did that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I couldn't decide how to end with all that fantastic stuff going on. Anyway, this is about barbed wire, actually. Joseph Giddens, born January 18th, 1813. I had to do it, it was January 18th. So, made barbed wire from an old coffee mill. Chopped up pieces attached to wire mark the beginning of property demarcations in the West. The beginning of fast boundaries of plots of land marked the end of the civilization of native peoples, marked the end of the wide prairie, the end of land belonging to everyone, the end of communal civilization built on sharing of the land, the end of civilization. Barbed wire.
Closing the comments.
I'm going to close with a happy thing.
Very beautiful.
Looking for the happy place, wanting space to grow, to know of happiness of sky and sunshine, birds and trees, words and seemingness of harmony. Or maybe just a thought of butterflies in Africa stretching wings, in mist of dreams cascading falls, somewhere in fallingness of anywhere or everywhere, in bloomingness of happy.
Beautiful!
Thank you, everybody. What an evening. Wow.
All right, so
Prizes.
gifts. So when you sign in, you put put your name next to a number. These cards have numbers on them. I am shuffling them. He has shuffled them. They have been shuffled several times. These are cards. If you don't want the books or other things, you can be the co-pilot next time. The mini feature comes in the second half of the 8 minutes. The last word, who, like Karen, started and ended the second half. Being the keynote, kicks off the show, and you get a 5-minute of your own poem later on, and choosing the theme or prompt. A drum roll, please, would be appropriate. Number 3.
Rick Peter.
Okay.
I'll take the mini.
We have Arnini, Britt Peter. Thank you so much. Everything was beautiful. Number 11.
Tommy. Oh. Tommy.